afternoon. Thank you for coming. Yesterday was not a good day in our city. A 16-year-old was killed and 4 others, men were wounded in a drive-by shooting, a gang-related drive-by shooting. My hope is that we will keep the family members of Shane Simpson and the other victims in our thoughts and prayers during this holiday season. I want to give you an update of the shootings that started yesterday morning and continued to about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Here to help us pull this all together is Captain Jim Verone, who oversees our Criminal Investigation Division, and Deputy Chief Mitch Cunningham, who oversees our gang unit. Please be mindful, because this is an ongoing investigation. We're limited as to what we can say. However, it is important that we share with you as much information as we can at this point of the investigation. So first, I'll turn it over to Captain Jim Verone from Criminal Investigation Division.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Again, I'd like to remind everybody that this is an ongoing investigation, so I'm really limited as to what I can divulge. This is a lot of different moving gears and moving parts, and we're, as we speak, continuing to work this investigation. Just to recap, yesterday at 11:40, we had a shot spotter alert right there at the intersection of 11th and Castle Street at about 11:40. Multiple rounds were fired. When officers arrived, they found one of the victims down on the ground, who's the decedent, and there were 4 others that were sent to the hospital for non-life-threatening wounds. The victim was 16 years old. I believe you have that information, Shane Simpson. There was another 16-year-old, 2 15-year-olds, and 1 17-year-old. They've all been released from the hospital with non-threatening, life-threatening wounds. What we do know is we have been able to piece this thing together, working throughout yesterday and into the night, talking with some of the victims and witnesses through the calls made at the 911 center, and we were able to piece some information about this case together. What we do know is we are looking for more than 1 suspect in this case. At this time, I can't divulge how many, but it is more than 1. We do have charges pending, and we're actively looking for some individuals that are responsible for these crimes. I would ask that anybody in the community that has any information to come forward. They can call anonymously or call text a tip and send that information to us. We'd be grateful for that. But we will be clearing this case hopefully sooner than later, and at that time, when we start to make some arrests, we'll be glad to come forward and lay some of this out with a timeline and exactly what this is about. But it is centered around gang activity. With that, I will take some questions, but again, let me remind you, I'm limited as to what I can answer.
The shooting on Clay Street reported after that, was that related to the shootings?
We are investigating those. That happened about an hour after this initial event that occurred at 12:26 yesterday. We are investigating that, and we are treating that as if it is related. Yes, ma'am.
Were there any other shooting incidents reported after that one?
There was another one about an hour after that, I believe, which occurred in the 2300 block of South 17th Street, which is also thought to be related.
Any property damage victims in that case?
No.
Is that just basically a shot spotter that you guys responded to?
The one on South 17th Street was not. Any other questions?
What leads you to think it's gang related?
Looking over the victims that were involved, most have been gang validated and or have associations to gangs. Also, our suspects, I will say, have gang affiliations. And that's about all I can say with that.
Can you identify which gangs are involved?
I will not at this time.
Okay, let's do Deputy Chief
Thank you.
Cunningham.
Good afternoon, everyone. Deputy Chief Mitch Cunningham. I'm the Bureau Chief for Investigations. I want to express my deepest condolences to the families, the victims, etc. And also would like to thank the community for all their help in this case. We've been receiving a lot of information and it's been very helpful to us. And I'd also like to thank the investigators and officers. They've been working round the clock tirelessly to work on this case, and I think we're going to have some pretty good progress, as Captain Barone alluded to. But the reality is, gang violence it has a horrible impact on our community, and it's something that we have worked very hard on in the last few years. We've got a gang unit. The gang unit was very helpful in piecing this together, which will lead to some of this progress that we're talking about. But we have over 200 validated gang members in the city, and the lifestyle that these gang members lead is extremely violent. It has been suggested that if you are a member of a gang, you are 60 times more likely to be a victim of homicide. And we have young people being pulled into gangs and engage in this senseless behavior. Some of the motivations for some of these disputes that occurred yesterday are under investigation, but it is a deep tragedy that these young people are using this level of violence to settle these disputes. As I said before, the community has been great in giving us the information in the aftermath. But what I would ask them to redouble their efforts is prior to these events occurring. If you hear that some of these kids are having a dispute, having some kind of conflict, please call us. Please use text to tip, which ensures your anonymity.